Okay. I'm mixing the cream cheese, and we have to blend our protein powder into our yogurt before we mix that in with the cream cheese. So I'm gonna try to do this with an immersion blender and see how it works out. All right, that's actually working. Okay, so the last of our protein powder, we're gonna put it back into our immersion blender. Okay, it's working, but it needs a little help. Okay. We need a little, she needs a little milk. We're getting a little clumpy. So let's loosen up the clumps a little bit. And let's try that again. Well, not try it again, but let's continue. Work in progress. That actually worked quite well. So we took our immersion blender with our protein powder and our yogurt. It was a little bit of a small container, but we made it work. And we've now incorporated our protein powder in with our Greek yogurt. Now let's get all this off the immersion blender and into our bowl. Cute. Okay, cute. Now we'll take our little spatula, give it one more blendy blend. And now we have in here our cream cheese. There we go. So let's get this back in our bowl. Cute. And now we're gonna take our yogurt and protein blend. Let's take our paddle out for now, just so it's not in the way. And we have our yogurt, Greek yogurt, and plant-based protein blend. I'm gonna put that into our bowl. Scrape down the sides really good. Scrape it, scrape it. Make sure we get all of our product out. Scrape the sides. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. There's still a little protein powder down here, so let's get all of it. Okay, so we have all of our mix, our yogurt mix out, and we've put it in the bowl with our blended light cream cheese, because we're making something yummy, but we're making it fitness friendly, because you know, we work hard in the gym. And that's what I'm trying to manifest, is a future boyfriend that works hard in the gym, but also likes to have little sweet treats sometimes. So today we're making high protein pistachio cheesecake bars. I already made the crust and baked it off. It's back here. And now we're making our filling for our cheesecake bars. This is very much a recipe in development, and it's a bit of an experiment because I don't always like to bake with protein powder. It tends to have a bit of an aftertaste, but I'm hoping with like the cream cheese and the yogurt and all of that like creamy goodness and the pistachio, I'm hoping that the kind of like that you know, protein powder taste doesn't come through as much, because we do want the protein bump, we just don't want that protein powder taste. So that's why we blended it with the yogurt. And now we're going to beat cream cheese until creamy, then add yogurt protein mix. I also took pistachios and I pulsed them in my little Ninja blender until they were finely ground. We're gonna get all of this yummy pistachio goodness down to every crumb. We're not gonna let any crumb be wasted, because pistachio is our hero ingredient. And so I used fresh pistachios, dry roasted pistachios, and they're fresh as in like freshly ground. So we're gonna take that, put it into our bowl. Make sure we get all of it. Pistachios are not cheap, and in this economy, we try not to waste. So let's get all of it in the nooks and crannies. Because you can literally get like up to a gram sometimes out of these nooks and crannies if you really get in there. Okay, we have our pistachio. We have date sugar. And feel free to say hi in the chat if you want to. Let me know where you're at. I'm in Northern California. It's Friday morning. Date sugar and cornstarch. This is our cornstarch. We have our eggs and our vanilla. Okay, now we mix. Mix, mix, mix. Let's pull this in so you can see it. There you go. I like to clean up as I go. So you put things away. Clean up as you go. Clean up as you go. And now I'm gonna pop the crust back into the oven for 2 minutes just to warm it up a little bit. Okay, we've got a good mix here. Now we're gonna add, I have 2 eggs and some egg whites from a carton, totaling 155 grams. So it wants us to add the eggs one at a time. So we're just basically gonna add this in beats. So we're gonna add 1 egg and some egg white in, mix. And once the eggs come into play, you want to scrape the sides of your bowl down. So we've got it mixed. We've got some dough coming together, some batter. This is more batter than dough. Yeah, if it's liquidy, it's batter. If it's a thicker consistency that sticks together, I guess then it's a dough, right? That would be the difference between a batter and a dough. Okay, so we're gonna scrape our sides down and the bottom of our bowl to make sure everything is getting mixed and incorporated fully. All right, we've done a mix, mix, mix. Scrape our little spatula. Make sure we get all that yummy goodness back into our bowl. And we're gonna add our second egg and the rest of the egg whites. In it goes. Mix, mix, mix. Cleaning up a little bit as I go, putting things into the dishwasher so that's the one thing about baking, is that it can easily feel like your kitchen exploded by the time you're done if you don't clean along the way. But if you clean along the way, then it doesn't feel as overwhelming. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh, ooh, that's hot. Oh, that's hot. Okay. Okay. Now, we have to pull our crust back out of the oven. We've warmed it up a little bit because it was sitting out for a while after baking. And now we have some vanilla bean paste. We're going to put that in. There we go. There we go. Okay, so mix, mix, mix. What do you think? Do you think my future boyfriend will like these? I mean, I guess I should wait until they're done, right? I hope they're good enough that my future boyfriend likes them. Okay, we've mixed. We're gonna take our paddle, scrape everything off of our paddle, and say, thank you, paddle. Thank you for all your work today. You've been very kind, very hardworking. You came to work today. She came to work, 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 work. 10s across the board. No notes. No notes. All right, cute. We're gonna take our paddle out. Give her a little rinse and put her in the dishwasher. Rinse, rinse. Rinse, rinse. Dishwasher. And then we take our paddle. We're gonna do one more scrape, scrape, scrape around the world. Make sure that all of our beautiful ingredients are properly incorporated and mixed together. So we're gonna scrape the sides of the bowl, the bottom of the bowl, the sides of the bowl. Again, one more scrape. Give it a little north to south, east to west. Cute. We have a fully incorporated batter. Now, we're gonna take our crust that we made earlier. Thank you if you were here earlier while we were making crust. That was a fun little hangout. Now we're gonna pour our batter in. I can smell the yogurt. I can smell the cream cheese. I don't really smell the protein powder, so that's good news. I don't smell pistachio though. But that's okay. Hopefully when it bakes, the pistachio will come through more. So we scrape, scrape, scrape. Get everything off the sides of our bowl. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Has a little bit of a green hue, but she's not giving pistachio. She's not giving like bright green. Hi, I'm from the house of pistachio down boots. She's giving, I'm Caribbean and I don't know what island I'm from. All right, we're gonna bring her out to the edges. Bring her out to the edges. Okay. We're gonna scrape, scrape, scrape. Because every bit counts. We don't want to waste none of it. Look at that. Yeah. All right. So we have our high protein. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me rinse the bowl. I don't want it to get too crusty. We don't want it to get too crusty dusty. I already have enough crusty people in my life. I don't need crusty bowls. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gonna rinse our little bowl out a little bit. Our big bowl, actually. It's a big bowl. Okay, beautiful. We're gonna put our bowl into our dishwasher. Put our other utensils into the dishwasher. And cute. Look at that. It doesn't even feel like anybody baked in here. Who baked in here? Not me. There's no evidence except for this beautiful soon-to-be cheesecake. Okay, that will be turned into bars. All right, so we're gonna tap it a bit, and now We're gonna check our oven temperature. We want it to be 325. It's hovering just below 325. I'll take it. So we're gonna put this baby in. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. 28 to 32 minutes. So we're gonna set a timer for 30 minutes. Right in the middle of 28 and 32. All right, 30 minutes on the clock. Now, let's make sure I'm not ADHD forgetting anything. All right, so we're gonna let it. So if you're following along and you wanna recreate this, let me know in the comments if you want a full typed out recipe. I can always put it in my community tab if anybody wants the full recipe with all the instructions and everything. And again, this is an experiment. This is very much recipe development. So if you want to help me try out the recipe, feel free. I'll share it with you, and feel free to share your findings with me and your experiments with me if you want to experiment along with me. If you want to bake for your future boyfriend or girlfriend, highly recommend it. Okay, so we made our crust. We made our filling. Let me run down through these ingredients really quick in case somebody wants to jot them down. So I'm using a 9x9 pan. We're shooting for 16 bars to come out of this pan when I'm done. And our target for macros is 10 grams of protein per bar. Our crust has 110 grams of oat flour, 60 grams of almond flour, 20 grams of Truvani vanilla protein powder. It's plant-based protein powder. 30 grams of, I used pistachio butter, pre-made pistachio butter. But, excuse me, let me blow my nose really quick. But it was my first time using the pistachio butter, and it didn't really give me like that nice pistachio smell that I had with the fresh ground pistachios. So we went ahead with and used the butter for the crust. 40 grams of date sugar, 25 grams of melted butter, 30 grams of egg whites, plus a pinch of salt. We mixed it together in our mixer with our paddle until it became crumbly, and then we pressed it into our pan with parchment paper. It baked for 10 minutes, and then I let it cool. It cooled for a little bit longer than 15 minutes. Like if I was doing everything back to back, I let myself have a little bit of a break. So I popped it back into the oven for 2 minutes before we put the filling in while we were mixing our filling. So then our filling is 360 grams of light cream cheese, 300 grams of Greek yogurt. This says 2% for creamier, 0% for leaner. I had 3.5% milk fat, so it should be on the creamier side, which I want my, cheesecake to be creamy, right? 40 grams of vanilla protein powder, 70 grams of finely ground pistachios. This is where I said, let me skip the pre-made pistachio butter. Let me take 70 grams of roasted pistachio nuts and let's just grind them up ourselves. And so I ground up freshly ground pistachios, it gave me that nice, nose feel. You want it to smell like pistachio because then you're going to taste the pistachio. Then it has 80 grams of date sugar. The date sugar is really nice too. It has like a caramelly kind of like vibe to it. Like it's very dusty and powdery. It like billows out of the bag a little bit, and it kind of smells a little bit like, como se dice, spun sugar, like cotton candy. Okay, so 80 grams of date sugar, 12 grams of cornstarch. Then I had 2 large eggs, and then I added egg whites up until it got to 155 grams, which is what it was asking for. And 6 grams of vanilla bean paste. I like to use vanilla bean paste in my baking. You can use vanilla extract. It's just vanilla extract. It's very light. You're not really getting like a vanilla flavor. And if you're going to have vanilla, I want it to like taste and look like vanilla. I like the little speckles that you get with like vanilla bean paste. So I tend to use vanilla bean. And if I'm making a recipe that's specifically a vanilla recipe, then I use both vanilla bean paste and vanilla extract. But I use vanilla extract as like an extra add-on. I don't use it as my baseline, like, ingredient when I'm baking. So if you get a chance to get yourself some vanilla bean paste, always use it instead of vanilla extract, in my opinion. And then when this comes out of the oven, it needs to cool on the counter. and then it needs to go in the fridge for a few hours. But once it comes out of the fridge, either later yeah, it's still morning time. So I'll probably go live this afternoon after it's been in the fridge for a few hours and decorate it. And so when we have a cooled cheesecake that we're going to cut into bars, we're going to pull it out of the fridge. We're going to cut it into 16 bars. And I'm going to take some vanilla melting wafers, some Ghirardelli vanilla melting wafers, melt those down to create a drizzle. And we're going to drizzle on top and then crumble some, I'm going to crush some pistachio nuts and some freeze-dried raspberries. And then we'll sprinkle those on top and give it that very like high-end bakery vibe. Because again, I'm trying to make somebody fall in love with me. So we got to make it cute. So shout out future boyfriend. I hope you see this someday and you see how hard I'm working to make you fall in love with me. Hi, I'm MeMeCherry. Feel free to hit subscribe if you haven't. I like to go live and bake sometimes. Sometimes I rhinestone things like costume items. Right now I'm in the middle of making my Sabrina Carpenter costume, so I've been rhinestoning that. So feel free to hit subscribe if you want to catch on to those adventures. I also like to rhinestone Labubus, so I'm going to be rhinestoning a Labubu at some point this weekend. I have a couple of them that I'm working on. Sometimes I do fitness content. For example, this Sunday I did Pilates by the pool and I just went live, and it was very kind of like POV, hang out with me by the pool while I do Pilates. And I also have a podcast, which I'm actually going to go finish editing. I have an amazing episode with a new guest. Shout out Lunchbox. That episode should be uploading today. Hopefully, I just need to finish editing it and upload it. But keep an eye out for that. I have a fun little podcast. It's called Series of Fortunate Events, or Sophie, SOFE. So feel free to check it out on this channel. And again, if you haven't hit subscribe, feel free to hit subscribe. I hope to see you again. And if I don't see you again, I hope you have a great life. Thank you. Bye. I'll see you later.